In the bustling halls of Evergreen University, where autumn leaves painted the campus in fiery reds and golds, Miss Seema Patel walked with the kind of grace that turned heads without trying. At 32, she was the star of the English literature department, a professor whose lectures on forbidden love and classic novels left students spellbound. Her dark hair cascaded in waves, her eyes held secrets like ancient poetry, and her smile could disarm even the most cynical soul. But beneath that poised exterior, a storm was brewing, one that no syllabus could prepare her for. It started innocently enough. Alex Thompson was just another face in her sophomore class, a 20-year-old transfer student with tousled brown hair, sharp green eyes, and a quiet intensity that made him stand out. He wasn't the loud type, not like the frat boys who dominated discussions. No, Alex listened, absorbed, and when he spoke, his words cut through the noise like a knife through silk. Love isn't possession, he'd argued once during a debate on Romeo and Juliet. It's surrender. Seema had paused, her heart skipping a beat, as if he'd read her mind. At first she dismissed it as admiration for a bright mind, but then came the late-night office hours, where Alex would linger, discussing metaphors in Hemingway or the tragedy in Bronte. Their conversations stretched beyond books, dipping into personal dreams, his ambition to write novels that changed the world, her quiet regret over a life too structured, too safe. "You've got fire in you, Miss Seema," he'd said one evening, the setting sun casting shadows across her desk. "Don't let the world extinguish it." Her cheeks flushed, and she laughed it off. But that night, alone in her apartment, she couldn't shake the warmth his words ignited. Weeks turned into months, and the obsession crept in like fog over the campus lake. Seema found herself scanning the classroom for him first, her lectures tailored subtly to draw his reactions. She'd replay their talks in her mind, dissecting every glance, every smile. Was that a spark in his eyes? Did his hand brush hers accidentally during a book handoff? She started dressing differently, subtle changes, like a fitted blouse instead of her usual loose ones, a touch of red lipstick that made her feel alive. Friends noticed. "You're glowing, Seema," her colleague remarked over coffee. "New man in your life?" She waved it away, but inside, the truth gnawed at her. Yes, but he was forbidden fruit. One rainy afternoon, the hook that changed everything snapped tight. Class had ended, students filing out like ghosts in the downpour, but Alex stayed behind, umbrella in hand. "Miss Seema, I need advice," he stammered, raindrops glistening on his jacket. His voice was low, vulnerable. "There's this girl in my creative writing class. She's incredible, but she's older, more experienced. How do I tell her how I feel without sounding like a fool?" Seema's world tilted. Jealousy surged like a tidal wave, hot and unexpected. Who was this girl? Why her? She forced a smile, her heart pounding. "Be honest, Alex. The truth has a way of breaking barriers." But as he left, she collapsed into her chair, fists clenched. That night she dreamed of him. Intimate, shocking dreams where boundaries dissolved, and she whispered words meant only for a lover's ear. The suspense built like a thriller novel she couldn't put down. Seema began following him. Not stalking, she told herself. Just coincidental paths across campus. She'd bump into him at the library, the coffee shop, each encounter charged with electricity. "Fancy seeing you here," she'd say, her voice a mix of tease and tremor. Alex grinned, oblivious at first, but soon his responses lingered longer, his eyes holding hers a beat too much. Was he feeling it too? Or was it her imagination, twisted by desire? Then came the shocking twist that shattered her resolve. It was midterms, and Alex turned in a paper on forbidden love in literature, but tucked inside was a note. "Miss Seema, your class has opened my eyes to what real passion means. Thank you." Innocent words, but to her, they screamed confession. She read it over and over, her pulse racing. That evening, she invited him to her office under the pretense of feedback. The room felt smaller, the air thick with unspoken tension. "Alex," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. "Your paper, it's brilliant. But it makes me wonder, have you ever felt that kind of love? The kind that defies rules?" He leaned forward, his green eyes locking onto hers. "Every day lately. It's terrifying." The words hung there, suspenseful, like the pause before a storm. Seema's breath caught. Was this it? The moment she'd fantasized about? Her mind screamed warnings, ethics codes, power dynamics, the scandal that could end her career. But her heart overruled. "Tell me more," she urged, her hand inching closer to his across the desk. As the conversation deepened, the hooks kept coming, each more shocking than the last. Alex confessed his loneliness since transferring, how her class felt like home. Seema shared fragments of her past, a failed engagement to a man who saw her as a trophy, not a partner. "I want someone who sees me," she said, her voice cracking. Their knees brushed under the desk, sending jolts through her body. Time blurred. The campus outside faded into night. "Miss Seema," he murmured, "you're not just my teacher. You're everything." That's when it happened. The line she crossed, the words she uttered that were meant only for a husband, a soulmate bound by vows. Leaning in, her lips inches from his, she whispered, "Alex, I want you to make love to me. Right here, right now. Claim me like no one else can." The shock of it hit her even as the words escaped. Raw, intimate, a declaration of total surrender. His eyes widened, a mix of surprise and desire flashing across his face. The room spun. Suspense thickened like smoke. Would he pull away, report her, or dive into the abyss with her? He didn't pull away. Instead, his hand cupped her cheek, gentle yet firm, and he kissed her. It was electric, forbidden fire igniting every nerve. They moved in a haze of passion, clothes shedding like old skins, bodies entwining on the office couch that had witnessed only academic debates before. Seema's mind raced with the thrill and terror. What if someone walked in? What if this was all a dream? But his touch grounded her, his whispers echoing her deepest longings. "I've wanted this too," he admitted between breaths, his voice husky. "From the first day." In the afterglow, as they lay tangled in each other's arms, the reality crashed in. Seema traced patterns on his chest, her heart swelling with love she'd never known. But doubt crept in like shadows at dawn. "This can't happen again," she said, though her body betrayed her, pulling him closer. Alex shook his head. "It has to. I love you, Seema. Not as a student, but as a man." The words were a hook, reeling her deeper into obsession. She was Diwani, madly in love, willing to risk everything. The days that followed were a whirlwind of secrecy and suspense. Stolen moments in her office, late-night texts coded in literary references, "Meet me where Heathcliff roams," kept the fire alive. But cracks appeared. Rumors whispered through the halls. "Did you see Miss Patel with that Thompson kid? They're always together." Seema's colleagues eyed her suspiciously. Alex's friends teased him about his crush on the prof. The tension built, a ticking bomb. One evening, during a campus event, they almost got caught, his hand on her waist in a dark corner, lips brushing her ear. "I need you," he whispered, the words sending shivers down her spine. Then came the ultimate shock, the twist that tested their bond. Seema discovered she was pregnant. Staring at the test in her bathroom, her world imploded. How? They'd been careful, but fate had other plans. Panic surged. Scandal, unemployment, judgment from a society that frowned on such unions. She had to tell him. That night, in a secluded park bench under starry skies, she confessed, "Alex, I'm carrying our child." His face paled, suspense hanging heavy. Would he run? Deny it? Instead, he dropped to one knee, pulling a simple ring from his pocket, a family heirloom he'd carried for weeks. Marry me, Seema. Let's build a life together. I don't care about the rules. Tears streamed down her face. As she nodded, the intimate words she'd said before now sealed with a promise. Yes, my love. You're my husband in every way that matters. But happiness was fleeting. The suspense wasn't over. The university launched an investigation after an anonymous tip. Seema faced the dean, her career on the line. This is inappropriate, he thundered. Alex stood by her, testifying their love was real, mutual. The hearings were grueling, hooks of doubt pulling at them. Would they lose everything? In a shocking turn, support poured in, students rallied, petitions circulated. Love knows no hierarchy. Even some faculty admitted to similar stories from their youth. The university, facing backlash, allowed Seema a sabbatical instead of firing her. Alex graduated early, and they moved to a quiet town, where she taught online, and he wrote his first novel, dedicated to her. Years later, with their son playing in the yard, Seema reflected on that fateful whisper. It had been reckless, intimate beyond words, meant only for a husband, but it sparked a love that defied odds, a story more epic than any in her lectures. Alex kissed her forehead. You were my teacher, but you taught me what forever means. And in that moment, their obsession bloomed into eternal devotion, proving that sometimes the most shocking paths lead to the truest hearts.